Shiguseigan. Shujo Muhensei Gando. Sentient beings are infinite. I vow to save them. Bonno Mujinsei Gandan. Desires and cravings are inexhaustible. I vow to put an end to them. Homon Muryo Sei Gaku. The Dharma gates, the teachings, are infinite. I vow to learn and practice them. Butsudo Mujo Sei Ganjo. The Buddha way, the Buddha life, is supreme. I vow to realize it. Good morning. This morning I would like to talk to you about one of the fascicles in our founder Eihei Dogen Zenji's Shobo Genzo. In fact, the final fascicle that he wrote before he passed away is called the Hachidai Ningaku. That is, the 8 qualities or 8 awarenesses of a great person. Originally, these 8 qualities were part of Shakyamuni Buddha's final testament. The first one is having few desires. I'm sure all of us have had times when we felt, oh, I have to have this, or I must get that. Sometimes it seems that our head is constantly filled with, I want this, I want that. But the Buddha said that having few desires, few cravings, leads to less disappointment, frustration, and suffering when we don't get what we want. He didn't say having no desires, because desires in and of themselves are not bad. But sometimes I feel I want to go to the toilet. That's a desire, and that is usually best taken care of. Or I haven't eaten all day. I want something to eat. So having the desire to eat is also important. But these wants, these desires, these cravings are endless. And in my opening prayer of the Shiguseigan, or the 4 great Bodhisattva vows, in the second vow, we vow to eliminate these endless cravings. This leads us to the second quality of a great person, knowing we have enough. It's important to realize that what we have, of all of the myriad dharmas that we have, that is enough for one lifetime. The third quality mentioned is appreciating serenity and quietude. That is, appreciating living in a quiet environment, apart from all the hustle and bustle going on around us. This also includes not being taken in by all the loud and boisterous commercials urging us to purchase things that we need, even if we don't realize that we need them. The fourth quality urges us to be diligent. That's not difficult to understand, but what is it that most people are diligent in? Making more money? Working hard to get into a higher position or status? Or acquiring more things? That isn't what the Buddha meant by being diligent. What he means by being diligent is striving to learn and practice Buddha Dharma in our daily life. How do we do that? By helping others instead of always thinking only about how I can benefit or what I can get out of it. In taking care of our life and that of those around us, we can't help but bring joy into our own life and in the life of those around us. The fifth quality that comes up is not losing sight of true Dharma. Not losing sight of true Dharma means not losing sight of what is most valuable. And what is of most value is to realize more and more fully that who we truly are is our interconnectedness with all things, with the whole universe. For far too often, we lose sight of our interconnectedness to all things because a neighbor does not think like us, or look like us, or perhaps doesn't share the same culture or the same religion. This is, of course, nonsense. No two people look exactly alike or think exactly alike. We are all living our own lives by ourselves. But what is important, not to lose sight of the fact that despite the many differences there might be, nonetheless, who we truly are is totally interconnected to everything in the universe. That brings us to the sixth quality, Zenjo, or Samadhi in Sanskrit. In plain English, or in Japanese, our Zazen. And by Zazen, of course, I don't mean some mystical state of mind. By Zazen, I simply mean our sitting straight forward, not slouched over, facing the wall. Now, do thoughts come up during our Zazen? Of course they do. After all, we're not rocks. We're human beings. But we can let go of those thoughts and just sit. And when we sit, it's important not to try and suppress thoughts, nor reject them. Of course, it goes without saying that we should not chase after them either. So, not suppressing, not rejecting, not chasing after those thoughts. That is our Zazen. It is like the expression Choku hakuun no tobu wo saizu. That is, the drifting white clouds never impede the deep sky. Those thoughts that come and go are like the drifting white clouds. And the deep sky is our consciousness. So these thoughts come into our head and they go. So it's important to let come up whatever comes up and let it go. Now, for just 5 minutes, I would like us to sit Zazen together. So just for 5 minutes, if you have a wall nearby, or if you want to continue looking straight ahead, perhaps just sit. It could be in a chair, like me, and let us be silent together for 5 minutes. There. Now, I would like to mention the last two qualities in Dogen Zenji's writing of the Hachidai Ningaku. The seventh quality or awareness that he speaks of is practicing wisdom. This awareness or quality is what we must manifest through our practice, our daily practice. When someone talks of how much knowledge or wisdom they have, this is no more than the swagger of egotism. We could say that wisdom is the activity or function of our Zazen in daily life. Finally, the eighth quality of a great person is not engaging in useless argument. To be sure, when the Buddha talked about not engaging in useless argument, he was referring to the uselessness of debating or quarreling with other people about what is right or wrong, good or evil. Also, not engaging in philosophical discussions having no connection to our daily life. But I think another aspect of not engaging in useless arguments is not getting completely caught up in and confused by our own thoughts and delusions. I know I can waste far too much time thinking only about what I want for me. And this translates into what's in it for me? What can I get out of it? I think this becomes clearer and clearer to us the longer we practice a Zazen of just sitting and letting come and go of whatever comes to mind. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about the life of a bodhisattva and the importance of our acting as bodhisattvas. Now I know most of us don't think of ourselves as bodhisattvas, but all of us who are practicing the teaching are bodhisattvas. Maybe little bodhisattvas, but bodhisattvas nonetheless. We live in a very tumultuous time. We all feel that, I'm sure. Actually, this is nothing new, but I suspect that due to the pandemic and the volatile political situation, depression, accompanied by suicide, has surged. Racism has raised its ugly head again, along with the divisiveness due to differences in thinking or values people feel when talking with those whom they thought to be friends. And, of course, there's the severe problem of global warming. Scientists are saying these days that if human beings do not address this problem immediately, the consequences will surely be very severe. In fact, some scientists say that if all of us don't do our part in mitigating the effects of global warming, within a century or two, our planet may well look more like the planet Venus than like Earth. Which means that in our day-to-day lives, we all have to think and act like bodhisattvas in relieving the suffering, our first bodhisattva vow, of all sentient beings. And this, of course, includes relieving the suffering of our home, the earth. Thank you very much. Now I would like to close. with the three refuges. I take refuge in Buddha, the living force of the universe. I take refuge in Dharma, the wonderful, inexhaustible teaching. I take refuge in Sangha, the community of practitioners with whom I am practicing.